The night was meant to stay calm, but calm has no place in love and hip-hop. What began as a simple exchange turned into a storm that shook the room, with Sierra unleashing chaos that left Yandy furious and viewers glued to their screens. Under the glare of cameras, Sierra stumbled through a half-drunk confession, blurting that she had heard a mysterious recording of Mendeecees saying something questionable. But instead of delivering facts, she tiptoed around the truth, holding back details, dangling hints like poisoned bait. The damage was instant. Yandy's face tightened as the half-story cut like a blade, raising doubts about her marriage in front of castmates and millions watching at home. What recording? What are you even talking about? Yandy's voice thundered, her patience fraying as she tried to decode Sierra's cryptic tease. But Sierra kept repeating the same haunting line, "I don't want to be the reason for a divorce." The more she said it, the hotter Yandy's rage burned. To fans, it looked like the ultimate betrayal, an intoxicated friend planting suspicion with no proof, no clarity, and no way to take it back. The tension ignited fast, accusations flying, as a once solid friendship dangled by a thread. Sierra's slurred puzzle piece words made less sense the longer she spoke. Leaning across the table, glassy-eyed, she whispered like she was dropping classified intel. "I heard something. I heard a recording of your husband saying something." The room froze. Yandy blinked hard, confusion flooding her face before fury took over. "Saying what?" she demanded, her tone slicing sharp. But Sierra panicked, backpedaling as regret painted her expression. "I don't want to get into details, girl. I don't want to be the cause of no divorce." Gasps rippled across the room, and fans online practically shouted through their screens. How do you drop a bomb like that and then refuse to explain? It was the kind of half-confession built for destruction, leaving nothing but chaos in its wake. Yandy leaned forward, nostrils flaring, demanding answers. "No, no, no. You're not about to sit here and throw my husband's name in the dirt without telling me exactly what you heard. Where's the proof? What recording? Who said it?" Sierra stuttered, her words tripping over themselves. I'm just saying there's stuff, things you might not know about." That was it for Yandy. She threw her hands up, exasperated. "Stuff? Things? You sound like a broken record. If you don't have facts, don't bring me nonsense." To fans, this was Yandy at her most raw. Not just mad at rumors, but devastated by betrayal. Sierra was supposed to be her friend, not someone weaponizing drunken whispers against her marriage. And it wasn't only Yandy who caught it. Castmates muttered under their breath, eyes darting. Someone hissed, "She's pulling a Carly Red." That name sent shockwaves through the fandom. Carly had made a career out of half-truths and pot-stirring, and now Sierra was being crowned Carly 2.0 right before everyone's eyes. Viewers online agreed, Sierra acting like drunk Carly. One tweet read, another exploded. "If you got receipts, show them. If not, keep it shut." Hashtags like #Carly 2.0 and #NoClarity stormed social feeds before the episode even ended. Back in the moment, Yandy's frustration boiled hotter. She whipped out her phone, scrolling as if to prove her life was an open book. "Anything I need to know about my husband, I already know. You're not telling me anything new. What you're doing is messy, and I don't do messy." But Sierra circled the same vague point, slurring, "I just think you should. Be aware. Sometimes men, they be saying things you don't know." That was it. Yandy snapped. "Girl, I talk to my husband every single day. If he sneezes, I know about it. Don't come to me with sometimes men. Come to me with facts, with receipts. Otherwise, you're just planting doubt." The energy was unbearable. Cameras zoomed in on every twitch, every muttered side comment. Even Carly leaned back, smirking as if enjoying her torch being passed, though fans shredded her too, mocking her changing face and fillers. Carly looking like a whole new person while Sierra tries to be her understudy, one fan posted. Through it all, Yandy's composure cracked. Her voice trembled with hurt as she shouted, "Do you know what happens when you throw out half-stories? You create drama for no reason. You hand people the power to laugh at my marriage, to tear at my family, And you didn't even come to me straight. You waited until you had 2 drinks, then dropped hints like it's a joke. Sierra's eyes filled, whether from alcohol or shame, no one knew. I wasn't trying to hurt you, she muttered. I thought I was helping. Helping? Yandy spat, incredulous. You call this helping? You're tearing down my house without even realizing it. If you cared, you'd come to me sober, with facts, not this circus. By now, the air was electric, fans at home calling it the most unbearable scene of the season. The cast sat stiff, unsure whether to intervene or let the fire burn. Yandy's phone buzzed again, and she raised it like proof. This is my life. This is my marriage. If there's a problem, I'll know before anybody else. Don't play with me. But Sierra muttered yet again. I heard him say some things. That was the final straw. Yandy shot to her feet, slamming the table. Then say it. What did he say? Word for word. Don't dance around it. Silence drowned the room. Sierra fumbled, blinked, shook her head. I just can't say it. I don't want it to come from me. And Yandy exploded. Her voice cracked, raw with fury. Then keep my husband's name out your mouth. Because you're not just hurting me, you're hurting my kids, my family, my peace. For what? A rumor you can't even back up? The eruption rattled everyone. This wasn't just about a rumor. It was betrayal, friendship, respect all shattering at once. The look on Yandy's face said it all. She would never let anyone, friend or not, play with her marriage. And just like that, one sloppy confession with no receipts detonated into a night of chaos. What started as drunken whispers left scars that no one in that room would forget. And the fallout? The energy in the room flipped on its head. Nobody could sit easy. Nobody could act like this was just TV drama. The air was so heavy it felt like the walls themselves were waiting to crack. Some castmates nervously sipped their drinks. Others avoided eye contact, but the cameras missed nothing. Yandy stood tall, chest heaving, her hands trembling as she tried to keep control. Rage burned, but beneath it, hurt flickered in her eyes. Across from her, Sierra slumped low, mumbling words that sounded like an apology, yet landed like another excuse. I wasn't trying to start all this. I just thought you should know. Yandy spun on her, her voice quivering with fury. Know what? You still haven't told me a thing. You embarrass me. Embarrassed yourself for what? You talk about a recording but can't even say what's on it. Do you know how messy that makes you look? Sierra buried her face in her hands, guilt setting in. I shouldn't have said nothing. I should have kept it to myself. The whispers erupted. Cast members leaned in, exchanging sharp comments. She's definitely drunk. She don't even know what she's saying, one murmured. Another shook their head. Nah. She knew exactly what she was doing. She just didn't think Yandy would clap back this hard. Fans at home had theories too. Some swore Sierra had something real, but cracked under pressure. Others insisted she was chasing attention, using Yandy's marriage as bait for a storyline. Online, the Carly Red 2.0 comparisons grew louder, cementing Sierra as the new face of reckless gossip. Yandy finally sank back into her seat, shaking her head. This is why I keep my circle small. People claim they're your friends, but instead of coming to you, they whisper, they hint, they stir the pot. If I need to know something, I want it straight. Not in riddles, not in rumors. Cameras cut to Sierra's face, her eyes glossy, lips pressed tight like she was choking back tears. Every attempt to defend herself only buried her deeper. By the next week, the fallout was everywhere. Social media exploded with clips of Yandy slamming the table, Sierra stumbling through excuses. Memes rained down. One showed Sierra clutching an empty cup with a caption, "No receipts, just vibes." Another had Yandy shouting, "Say it with your chest," or "Don't say it at all." Bloggers, gossip pages, even casual fans who hadn't tuned in for years resurfaced to witness the chaos. Yandy was praised for protecting her marriage, while others accused her of overreacting. But no one defended Sierra. Her credibility was shredded. Behind the scenes, Yandy vented to a close friend. "I feel betrayed. I trusted her. And instead of protecting me, She made me look like a fool on national TV. You don't play with people's marriages. Not mine. Her friend warned her, this won't be the last time someone comes for your relationship. Be ready. Meanwhile, Sierra whispered her own regrets to another castmate. I wasn't trying to be messy. I thought she should know, but when she snapped, I realized I should have kept my mouth shut. Her voice cracked. I didn't expect her to go off like that. The castmate shut her down cold. If you don't have proof, don't bring it up. Now you look messy, and she looks like the victim. Even Carly Red jumped in, relishing the chaos. In her confessional, she smirked. People call me messy, but look at Sierra. She's stumbling like she knows something, but she don't. At least when I spill tea, I bring the whole pot. Her words ignited more debate. Was she right, or just deflecting heat? Either way, Sierra's reputation was wrecked, even loyal fans turning against her. For Yandy, the sting didn't fade. She hadn't done anything wrong, yet the whispers now hovered over her marriage like a storm cloud. In private, she told Mendeecees what happened. Her voice cracked. She said there's a recording of you, but she wouldn't say what's on it. She just threw it out there and left it hanging. He frowned, shaking his head. That's ridiculous. If it was real, she'd show it. People been waiting for us to break for years, but I'm not giving them that. Yandy searched his face for even a shadow of guilt, but found none. Still, the seed of doubt had been planted, and that was what enraged her most. It's not even about me believing it. It's how it looks. Now people think there's something to hide. I can't keep fighting ghosts that don't exist. Mendeecees pulled her close, steady. Let them talk. Our truth is our truth. But Yandy wasn't satisfied. She needed proof. Clarity. Something solid to bury the whispers once and for all. At the next event, the storm reignited. Yandy crossed her arms, glaring. So, you sober now? Ready to tell me what you really meant? Sierra swallowed hard. I told you what I knew. I don't have anything else to say. Yandy scoffed. Then you shouldn't have said a word. Because now everyone's laughing, everyone's speculating, and it's my family paying the price. Castmates whispered from the sidelines. She's right, this is on Sierra, one muttered. Another shook their head. Nah, Yandy's dragging it too far. The cameras captured every raw expression, every clash of loyalty. This wasn't just a sloppy confession anymore. It had grown into a war over trust, loyalty, and respect between two women who once called each other sisters. And as the season dragged on, the fallout only widened, pulling in more castmates, more rumors, and secrets darker than anyone imagined. By the next morning, the internet was still ablaze. Blogs ran the footage on repeat, fans divided. Some dragged Sierra for being messy, others claimed she was hiding real receipts. One viral tweet declared, either spill it all or stay silent. Half stories ruin lives. Another read, Yandy is too classy for this. She deserves friends, not drunk drama. But critics tore into Yandy too, accusing her of overreacting. The more she tries to prove, the guiltier it looks, one fan wrote. The split only fueled the storyline further. Behind closed doors, Yandy paced her living room, replaying every second in her head. Why would she say that if she didn't mean it, she muttered. Mendeecees leaned back, calm as stone. Because she's messy. Don't let her get to you. But Yandy snapped back. You don't get it. People are believing her. Once a rumor is out, it doesn't die. Now, every time your name comes up, people will wonder. I don't want to spend my life defending something that never happened. Mendeecees sighed, rubbing his head. You can't control what people say. But Yandy wasn't convinced. In her eyes, silence wasn't protection. It was weakness. And as the whispers grew louder, one thing was clear. The fight was far from over. You can only control how you move, but for Yandy, that wasn't enough. Her marriage had already lived under the microscope. Courtrooms, separations, endless rumors. She had fought tooth and nail to keep her family whole, so the thought of her name being dragged again, without evidence, set her blood boiling. Meanwhile, Sierra was in scramble mode. She sat hunched over with a friend, her face buried in her hands. I didn't mean for it to get this big. I swear I wasn't trying to hurt her. I thought she should know. The friend shook their head sharply. But you didn't tell her what you heard. You dropped a hint and walked away. That's worse. Now you look shady, and she looks like the victim. If you had receipts, you should have shown them. If not, you should have stayed quiet. Sierra's eyes welled up. I was drinking, I wasn't thinking. I thought I was being a friend. But tears couldn't undo the damage. Bloggers had already christened her Carly Jr., mocking her for falling into the same messy patterns Carly Red had perfected. For years, Sierra had worked to separate herself from that image, but in one night, it all crumbled. The tension reached boiling point at a group brunch. From the moment the women gathered, the atmosphere was heavy. Living says everyone darted between Yandy and Sierra, waiting for round 2. Yandy entered poised, dressed like a queen reclaiming her throne, while Sierra looked fragile, her nerves exposed. It didn't take long before another castmate broke the silence. So, are y'all gonna talk about the elephant in the room, or what? Yandy rolled her eyes, dismissive. There's nothing to talk about. She said something with no proof, and I'm not wasting my energy on it. Sierra swallowed hard, her voice soft. I already told you. I didn't mean to hurt you. Yandy snapped, her tone like ice. You disrespected me. You disrespected my husband, my marriage, and my family. You can't come back from that with, I didn't mean it. The table fell into silence. Carly smirked, leaning in. See, that's why you don't play with people's marriages. You either bring the whole tea, or you keep the kettle in the kitchen. Nervous laughter rippled, but Yandy wasn't laughing. She leaned forward, eyes locked on Sierra. Let me make this clear. If you ever bring my husband's name up again without proof, we're done. No friendship. No conversations. Nothing. Keep me and mine out of your mouth. Sierra's eyes blurred with tears, but she nodded. Okay. Too little, too late. The damage was permanent. Fans at home dissected every second of that brunch, some praising Yandy's strength, others calling Sierra reckless. One viral clip froze Yandy's glare with a caption, "Don't play with her marriage." Even Yandy's family weighed in. A relative was overheard saying, "She's been through enough. She doesn't need friends who stir chaos. She needs people who protect her peace." That sentiment echoed across social media, with thousands flooding Yandy's comments with love and support. Still, the whispers wouldn't die. The recording became an obsession online. Nobody had heard it, nobody knew if it even existed, but the mere suggestion kept the fire alive. Fans demanded, "Where's the tape?" Sierra's silence made her look guiltier by the day. Some theorized she fabricated it. Others claimed she was scared to reveal the truth on camera. She slipped up. She knows more than she's saying. One viral post read. As the internet speculated, Yandy stood her ground. In her confessional, her voice was calm yet heavy. "I don't care what anyone says. My husband has stood by me through everything. People want to see us fail, but we're stronger than that. I won't let drunk gossip destroy what we've built." Her words resonated deeply, but even so, the shadow of doubt hung heavy. Because once a rumor is born, killing it is almost impossible. The dinner, the brunch, the blow-ups. They weren't just scenes, they were proof of how fragile friendships can be, how quickly trust can collapse, and how easily a marriage can become public target practice. And everyone knew, this was far from over. The brunch fallout only poured gasoline on the fire. Whispers grew louder. Speculation got darker. By the time the cast gathered again, the tension was suffocating. Everyone knew the so-called recording still hovered like smoke nobody could clear. Yandy walked in composed. Sierra's voice shook, her defense crumbling. "I never meant for it to get this big. I thought you should know what I heard. I wasn't trying to attack you." Yandy leaned forward, her gaze sharp enough to cut glass. "Then why didn't you tell me directly? Why wait until you're 2 drinks in, with cameras rolling, to throw out some half-confession that makes me look insane? Do you even realize how much damage you caused?" For the first time, Mendeecees spoke. His tone was calm, but firm enough to freeze the room. "You don't play with people's families. If you really had something, You should have come to me like a grown-up. But now it's obvious you had nothing real. Dragging my wife into this? Out of line. The silence that followed was deafening. Castmates shifted uncomfortably, some nodding, others staring down at the table. Then Sierra muttered the words that detonated everything. I heard a voice. I thought it was him, but maybe I was wrong. The confession landed like a bomb. Yandy's hand slammed the table, her voice rising with raw fury. So, you weren't even sure? You dragged a rumor into my house, embarrassed me, made my husband look guilty, and now you're admitting you don't even know if it was him? The cast gasped. Viewers later compared it to the climax of a courtroom trial. Sierra's flimsy story collapsed on itself, exposing what many had suspected. There was never a real recording, never real receipts, just a drunk misunderstanding amplified into a nightmare. Carly, ever the instigator, tossed her hair with a smirk. That's the problem. People love bringing half tea. If you don't have the whole kettle, leave it alone.